This is it, folks. The second annual Pensacola 500 is finally upon us, and we are here for some heart-pounding, all-exciting racing here to bring you live on this channel. Alongside me today is Ryan Caggiano for today's event, and I'll ask you this. This is a very high-speed race, 60 laps around this track. Anything can happen. Who are you going to keep an eye on in this race, as anybody in this field has a shot at winning it all?
You really can't really tell, but I'll probably look at, some of the front runners from last season, Jeffrey Finguy, Miles Mashburn, Stephen Hunter, Duke Anzac. You've got these already primed races. They know what they're doing, but there are some new guys in here that you can't really say out yet, so it's going to be a very good race here.
So, and with that being said, we had qualifying set by the duels and by pole day a few weeks ago. We can give you the full starting lineup for the Pensacola 500. We have Christian Vargas taking his first ever pole position in the series, with Justin Hutchinson alongside him in second. We have a rookie in row 2 with Sam Warning making his series debut ahead of Blair in the 19. In fourth, we've got a lot of fast cars scattered deep through in the field. And I gotta ask you this, when is considered too early to press the go button, because you need to pace yourself for a little bit of this race before the action picks up in the later stages?
It depends on really how your car's handling on the track versus how they're handling on the track. Do you reckon you can outspeed them and draft them on the outside, or it's a very tough question, and it really does depend. You don't want it too late on the whistle, but you don't want it to go too early, so it's all about timing it correctly.
So that being said, as we always say in this series, the cars are lined up on the grid. We're ready to go racing to bring you 60 laps of action at Pensacola Superspeedway. This is the second annual Pensacola 500 Live. You won't want to miss a thing. Pace car is already on pit road with Christian Vargas and Justin Hutchinson leading the way. This 42-car field is ready to go racing. And the second annual Pensacola 500 is underway, and the field's already fanning out 3 rows deep. Going through 3 wide into turns 1 and 2. J.D. Martin's making a move on the inside to try and make it 3 wide there, but Christian Vargas and Justin Hutchinson are still neck and neck going into turn 1 for the first time.
Yeah, I mean, early on, it's all about just jostling for position, trying to get the lead on some people, but right now it's been really good driving by that number 10 at 54.
With Christian Vargas trying to nose out ahead, but Justin Hutchinson has his teammate behind him, that's Blair in the 19, who won her duel in commanding fashion. She's giving a push to Justin Hutchinson in the high groove, and it looks like he will be able to nose out Christian Vargas unless he can get a push from Sam Warning in the 2 car. But as they come off of turn 4 for the first time today, it'll be a drag race to the line to see who can lead lap 1, but I believe it'll be Justin Hutchinson across the stripe, and it is, to complete lap number 1.
Yeah, I mean, he is leading, but it's not by much. As you can tell, it's like a very close race. We don't really have a clear leader yet, but in saying that, the 54 with help from the 2 is showing that he might be the clear leader now.
Yes, Christian Vargas noses out ahead of Justin Hutchinson, moves up to clear Justin Hutchinson, but don't look now, because here comes Sam Warning and Ricky Freeman Jr. and Stephen Hunter in the 51. You mentioned him at the top of the show, wanting to get up to his teammate Christian Vargas, and he will succeed in doing that. Right now it's Revolution Racing lined up on the inside lane with Vargas in front of Hunter, and as they come off of turn 4, I should say, Christian Vargas will complete lap number 2 by a nose ahead of his teammate Stephen Hunter, who's going for the lead right now on the inside.
Yep, Stephen Hunter, he is the winner of the last championship. He knows what to do. He's been in these situations before, so you can't really rule him out of any race whatsoever.
He's got Ben McDonald pushing him, and Jordan Presto on the underfunded Capital Racing team, who's got both cars in the field today. Jordan Presto won this race a year ago, and he's proving that he can win it again by running up in the top 5. But right now, it's Hunter and McDonald leading the way with help from Jared Polanski and Nick Ortiz right behind him.
I mean, Ortiz is another great driver from last season, but there are still some young guns outside that top 10 that are lurking to try and get a sniff of the top 10.
And you can see the Capital Racing drivers, Allison Rose and Jordan Presto, in the middle lane leading the way. But right now it's Stephen Hunter who's been in command of this race the last few laps. He's got Nick Ortiz and Duke Ansack pushing him along. This race has really been in control by the veterans of this series. You can see them all in the top 5 positions right now. But you got to keep an eye out for these rookies. There are plenty of them through the field, and they're really wanting to show their stuff here as they go 4 wide behind the top 2.
I love it when they do this 4 wide on a track like this. It brings out the excitement in me in these sort of tracks. But Nick Ortiz showing us why the inside line is the best line right now.
And he leads the lap number 4, but Jeffrey Finguy's getting a push as well. And Sam Donota leads the inside line, but Bobo Jones comes to block him in the 86. Jones won the season opener last year, so he knows how to win big ticket races. Can Jones make it 2 in a row, winning this year?
Exactly. He is known for winning these types of races, but you never know. In this race, it's always a very hard passing track, especially on the insides, and you just gotta try and keep that inside momentum.
So, with that being said, Bobo Jones is taking the lead of this race. He's got his teammate William Brock on the inside trying to take the lead. But here comes Ryan Soper in the 23. He really wants to make a statement. He's said his car has been slowest in preseason testing, but he's taking the lead right now. He's wanting to establish himself as a front runner this season, and he's so far doing it with help from Arthur Xavier and Jose Guerrero in the 78, a late substitute for Braden Saul. But he's putting that 78 car out in the lead early.
Yeah, I mean, again, you can see some of these guys, they're really trying to push hard their cars, but the problem is that inside line just gives you so much clear and so much easy overtaking. And so pretty much every single lap we've had a different leader.
And right now that would be Arthur Xavier in the 99 car. He showed his strength in the shootout and in his dual race before an engine expired, sending him to a deep starting spot in the 500. But now he's got a big lead. He's got a nice lead that he just gave up to Daniel Bouchard in the 73. Now Bouchard leads the way with Miles Mashburn and Lane Sanders pushing him. Sanders has had dreadful luck on these super speedways. He's crashed out in every single one of his super speedway starts, but he's leading right now. And he's getting a pretty good run. We've got Crash in the back of the field. We got several cars involved in this wreck. Jake McMillan is involved in this one. Diego Yepes was in damage, and Orion Spartaco, the Cinderella story of the 500. The glass slipper finally came off of Orion Spartaco's race. His day is over, and just like that, on lap 7, we've had several cars involved in this wreck that are likely taking them out of the Pensacola 500.
Well, it wasn't really the glass slipper story. It was a glass slipper story, then just shattered against a brick wall. Basically, that's what literally just happened there for him.
Yes, it's an unfortunate break for Orion Spartaco, who defied most of the odds, but just by making this race. But now his day is done on lap number 8 in a hard crash that has eliminated several of the favorites, including Jared Polanski, Jake McMillan. Brandon Beal was out of this race as well. He won on a super speedway last year. Man, this has been a tough break for all these guys, but that's just the product of this kind of racing. Anything can happen, and it usually will, as the pace car picks up Daniel Bouchard, who will lead this race under caution. We'll find out what happens shortly. This is the 1UP Superstar Series Pensacola 500 from Pensacola Superspeedway. We'll get you a replay of what happens soon. This is live from Pensacola. So Spartaco is right behind where I believe this starts, with Yepes getting into McMillan, who just makes contact, and Spartaco is just in the wrong place at the wrong time at the start of this one. He's got some severe front-end damage. Polanski's got some bad damage as well. His day's likely done. This is just a tough break for all involved, but as we said, that's just part of super speedway racing. It can happen to anybody at any time, and unfortunately it happened to these guys early on. You can see Yepes and McMillan in the middle of a 4-wide battle with Polanski, and they just get together at the wrong place, and it just sets off a melee that takes out at least 5 or 6 cars in this one. Like you said, it's very fortunate that these guys were at the back of the field and not near the front, where they could have collected even more cars in this one.
Yeah, but it's hard for these drivers because they really wanted to show that they're good drivers. They made it to the show, but now it's going to be a more tougher time for these guys.
So, with Orion Spartaco, Brandon Beal, Jared Polanski, and Jake McMillan out of the Pensacola 500 on lap number 9, the field cycles through behind the pace car. We'll see if the lights go out this time by, and it looks like they will not, so we will have at least one more lap of caution to go, at least 2 more laps of caution to go, until the restart, which we will bring to you shortly as soon as the cars are ready for the restart of this race. This is the 1UP Superstar Series Pensacola 500 live. We'll take you to the restart shortly. So, with the pace car leading them through turn 4 for the 11th time in this race, the pace car will make the hard left turn on the pit road, leading us to the restart with Daniel Bouchard in control, Kevin Carter, Miles Mashburn, Roberto Crown Jr., and Henry Brown rounding out the top 5. The green flag is out, and we are back to racing once again in the Pensacola 500. Daniel Bouchard gets a pretty good launch, but he's got to be careful because Kevin Carter and Miles Mashburn behind him can start ganging up on him if he gets too big of a lead out front.
Yeah, exactly. It's when they start splitting up hard and they're going on the inside-outside. That's when we're going to see who's going to be trying to challenge Bouchard for the lead.
So with Bouchard continuing to lead this race, we've got Mashburn now moving up to second. Roberto Crown Jr. and Henry Brown, the 2 rookies in the top 5, are lining up on the inside with help from Halleck in the 84. They're going to try and make the inside line work, but Bouchard comes down to block them. It's going to be a very wild battle for the lead, as we've mentioned before, with Roberto Crown Jr. establishing himself into second place, Henry Brown moving up to third, Halleck going up to battle Mashburn for fourth. But Daniel Bouchard continues to lead the way after the restart, but Henry Brown's making a move on the inside for second place, and they're getting 3 and 4 wide behind them. Anything can still happen in this race.
Absolutely, anything can happen, but right now it's about the Bouchard show right now. Just leading the laps, trying to get that lead lap point, but right now, it's all Bouchard here.
Let's see if these 2 rookies have anything to say about it, and it looks like they do. Roberto Crown Jr. makes a move to the inside with help from Henry Brown. The field gets 3 wide behind him, and Crown makes a move to the lead. The Kings Motorsports team and the Royal Performance Motorsports team have to be thinking about big picture today, as they both had 1 car miss the big 500, and they really need to accumulate as many points as they can to make up for that fact.
Yeah, entirely true. The Kings Motorsport group, I've heard some great things about them, but so far it's all about that rookie right now leading that first lap.
Yeah, but Stephen Gale, one of the veterans from last season, who won 2 races last year, is making a move on the inside of Roberto Crown Jr. with help from Ryan Soper, Jose Guerrero, and Christian Vargas, the pole sitter. So Gale establishes himself into the lead in the 35, and they just keep fanning out behind him. It's close quarters racing. Anything can still happen. But man, these cars are establishing themselves to prove this. They're proving to us today that even if whether you're a rookie or a series veteran, you can win this race if you play your cards right and are lined up in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly that, mate. Exactly that. Especially with how tight quarters this is, and how anyone can take the lead in a blink of an eye. This has been very exciting racing here.
So we're about a quarter of the way through the Pensacola 500 with Stephen Gale leading the way ahead of Nick Ortiz, Ben McDonald, Christian Vargas, and it looks like Andres Molina is moving up into the top 5 as well. So we've got some new characters up front, some old favorites showing their hands once again as Ortiz gets underneath Stephen Gale for the lead with help from Ben McDonald and Andres Molina in the 71. Richard Herman's back there. Jeffrey Finguy's making a move to the front. Jeff Bolton is there on the outside lane. But they're 4 wide deeper in the field, and I just got to wonder if there's an accident looming around the corner as they're getting really close together and a bit too close for comfort.
I mean, when you go onto these tracks and you go 3 wide, 4 wide, that just spells one word to me, and that spells chaos and accidents, and that is what's going to happen if these guys try and risk that a bit more.
All right, with Nick Ortiz continuing to lead the way, but Andres Molina is going to mount a challenge on the inside. Oh, and just as you said, we've got a crash in the back, and it looks like Daniel Bouchard's involved in this one. Yes, he is. Goes sliding through the grass. Sam Donato, again, heartbreak for him after a disappointing Nitro National Series race, which he dominated, only to crash out late. He's involved in this one as well. Henry Brown, we were saying such good things about him. The Portuguese driver out of the race. Wyatt Dooling with some heavy nose damage. He's likely done for the day as well. A lot more cars. Roberto Crown Jr., he was having such a good day. But now his car is wiped out in this lap 17 crash that has eliminated even more potential favorites to win this race.
Like I said before.
Oh, it looks like we got more contact here with Zachary Fitzwater, Henry Thomas, William Brock, Jeff Bolton, Justin Hutchinson with damage. The field just trying to slow down for the caution flag, and they just get stacked up behind the race leaders, and from there on back, it's just a cause of chaos. And there's Jeff Bolton with heavy damage, and his race is likely over as well. That leaves none of the Jeff Bolton racing cars with a shot to win this race now, as all have been eliminated either in a dual race or in the 500 itself. That's just a tough break for that Ford team.
I mean, it's really, really unfortunate for the Boltons, but hopefully they'll come out swinging for the next race. But you can't really. We're just about to talk about the first crash, about how we'll talk about chaos, and then all of a sudden, bam, second wave.
Second crash, it always happens that way. There's one wreck that happens, and then there's a wreck that happens trying to avoid the first wreck, and it just ends up in one big wreck, and that's what we call the big one. So we check in on fastest lap. Ben McDonald holds that, and McDonald runs in 7th position right now behind race leader Andres Molina. But as you can see, these cars pulling into the pit lane, their races are effectively over. I think Bouchard may be able to get back into it after some repair work, and maybe Denoto and Crown as well. But for the most part, a lot of these cars have some severe damage. A couple cars are actually coming on the pit road to make their scheduled pit stops, like Jeffrey Fingard, Brian Soper, Michael McCuskey as well. So don't count out any of these guys yet, but it's going to be a tough hill to climb for them to try and win the 500. So this looks like where it all begins, with Daniel Bouchard racing Kevin Carter, racing Bobo Jones, racing Sam Denoto, and it looks like they're going to go 4 wide once again. I think this is going to be the exact same thing that happened earlier. Yes, it is. They just get crowded together in the same place at the wrong time, and Bouchard goes spinning into the grass. Henry Brown gets a piece, and Sam Denoto just gets whipped around. You got to feel for Sam Denoto. He had a surefire win in the Nitro National Series taken away from him by a late race crash, and now an early race crash here has eliminated his chances of winning the Pensacola 500. You really got to feel for the guy. Let's get you an aerial view of the same accident. We've got Carter and Bouchard just getting nosed into each other, and then Denoto gets turned into McCuskey, who again hits Dooling and Xavier. Brown gets a piece, and just Denoto nowhere to go. You really got to feel for him, but that's just how plate racing goes. Lady Luck just does not favor Sam Denoto this weekend. But he'll be able to return for the Nitro National Series race at Atlanta, and hopefully he can get a win there, because he's really due for one.
Yeah, he's been doing a great driving, but Lady Luck has not been on his side whatsoever, like you said before.
So, we've got Andres Molina leading this race, Nick Ortiz second, Duke Anzac third, Richard Herman, Ben McDonald, Allison Rose, Christian Vargas, Lane Sanders, Blair in the 19, and Stephen Hunter rounding out the top 10. This is a very jumbled up field, but at least we do have plenty of drivers to keep an eye on in this race, as we still have 36 cars in this race, all of which are on the lead lap. So, some of them may be off the pace after that crash, but it'll be interesting to see which car can hold on to win this race. Do you see a winner in the top 10, or do you think the winner is going to come from further back?
I reckon it's going to come, not from the top 5, I reckon from 6th to 15th we'll see the winner. But you never know. But I've got my personal bet on who I reckon it is. I won't say who it is yet, but I reckon it might be Hunter. I reckon he still has some flair to show.
Definitely has some momentum after coming off that championship from 2020. And with a new team, new sponsors, new everything for him, he's ready to get his title defense off on the right foot. It'll be interesting to see where he ends up finishing in this race to get his title defense started. The lights are still on the pace car. We'll see if they go out this time by. see if we can go green next time around, and it looks like we will. The lights have gone out on the pace car, so we will be going green on lap 21. We are a third of the way through the Pensacola 500, and Andres Molina continues to lead the way ahead of Nick Ortiz, Duke Anczak, Richard Herman, and Ben McDonald completing the top 5.
Yeah, you've got some old favorites leading these races in the top 5, but you've also got some young guns, fresh faces coming around the outside the top 10, which should make this race a lot more interesting.
Including the other Cinderella story in this race, Allison Rose on the 46. She started last in her dual race, managed to race her way in on speed, and is right now running in the 6th position, a phenomenal run for that Capital Racing team. And if she can get a good finish in this race, that could bode very well for her in the owner's points battle, and hoping for a good finish from her today, because that would do her season wonders.
Yeah, just to show her owners, like, I am a good driver, I should be part of every race, and doing something well here could, cement that place.
So, she's running in 6th right now, doing a very good job hanging in there. We have 20 laps complete. It'll be 20 laps complete when they cross the line here next time by. And they will be taking the green flag this time by, with Molina leading, Ortiz, Anczak, Herman, and McDonald making up your top 5 positions. And it's Rose, Vargas, Sanders, Blair, and Hunter completing the top 5 as they round turns 3 and 4 for the 20th time today. The pace car will make the hard left turn on the pit road, and we're going to get ready to restart this thing once again.
Yep, and hopefully we'll get some more excitement racing straight away with some challenging from Nick Ortiz.
So the pace car off, the flag is in the starter's hand, the green flag is back out, and we are racing once again. The field naturally fans back out into double file formation as soon as possible. And keep an eye on that gray car in the back that just ducked out there. That's Joshua Lee in the 56 car. What happened with Lee is he was originally scheduled to enter this race in the 07 Carter Racing System entry. That's his full-time ride for this season, but he missed the 500 on speed. However, team owner Ricky Freeman Jr. pulled Jeremiah Dwayne from that 56 car and seated Joshua Lee in there. And he's putting on a very good performance. You can see Nick Ortiz make a move for the lead. But Lee is making a very good effort in this 56 car. He started last due to a driver change penalty, but he's all the way up to the top 11 now.
Yeah, the owner showing faith in Joshua Lee, and hopefully Lee can put his faith back into this and by giving him a good performance.
He's currently in 12th place right now, which is a very good showing for that part-time team. With Nick Ortiz out in front, with help from Duke Anczak and Christian Vargas behind him, 2 Toyotas separate him from his teammate Blair in the 19. So Ortiz continues to show the way, with Anczak second, Vargas and Molina side by side for position behind him. This is going to be an interesting race. The field's been cut down somewhat, the pack's been split up a little bit. It'll be interesting to see who can get the advantage, especially when these laps wind down.
Yeah, exactly. Early on, it's all about jostling for position. Now it's about just survival and just trying to get on their inside to try and take that lead.
And Duke Anczak's trying to make that pass for the lead right now. He's getting underneath Ortiz. He's got help from 2 Toyotas and Vargas and Hunter. The 2 Revolution Racing cars are lined up together on the inside, pushing the Carter Racing System entry of Duke Anczak out to the lead. They're leading the way. The Toyota contingent is having a strong showing here with 3 cars in the top 4 spots, soon to be 3 for 3 as Hunter gets past Ortiz. But Anczak continues to lead the way. He's yet to win despite a very strong playoff showing last season. Could this be the day he gets his first series win?
I mean, in these races, you never know. It's too early to tell, but you gotta be worried about that purple white car of Hunter. He knows what to do, and that's the scary thing.
That is definitely true. With Hunter lurking in the background, it's anybody's guess where he'll end up, but I strongly suspect he's going to get his title defense off to a very good start If he can lead a lap, that would be very nice. I'm pretty sure he already has led one, but if he can lead the most laps, that would be an extra benefit to him. As he goes to the inside of Duke Ansack to try and take the lead away, he's got a huge shove from Richard Herman, but Herman shoves Hunter up into the middle, and now Herman's going to try and take the lead with help from Blair in the 19 and McDonald in the 12.
Herman just did a little nudge, just like saying, I want that lead, thank you very much, and just takes it and runs.
It's a drag race to the stripe. It's a very close race for position. That was a tie down to the last hundredth of a second on our scoring monitor. So Richard Herman gets credit with leading that lap, but by the thinnest of margins, as Blair pushes him out to the lead with help from Ben McDonald, and Allison Rose is still there as well in the 46. It'll be interesting to see where she can end the day. As Blair continues to push Herman out to the lead, we've got a very close battle for this race lead in the Pensacola 500.
Yeah, it's pretty much every single lap there's a new leader, and that's what makes this race so exciting, because you can't really say early on who's going to win. You can't say later on who's going to win. It's just every single lap, it's always a different leader, and it's always beautiful.
So, with 25 laps complete, would have been halfway were we running another Nitro National race, but this is the Pensacola 500. We have 60 laps instead of 50. And so we're getting a little bit closer to halfway, but not quite there yet, as Richard Herman continues to command this race, with Blair in the 19 and second, Allison Rose making her way up to third. That's a phenomenal outing by the Capital Racing team. She's really outperforming that equipment, and she's making a move for second right now on Blair in the 19. This is an exceptional showing from Allison Rose here.
Yeah, very exceptional showing. Faith to the team, showing that she deserves to have a prime spot in every race, and right now showing us what she could do.
So she's running in second right now, but she's got a hungry pack of cars behind her, and she's got a very dominant Richard Herman in front of her to try and get past. If Allison Rose can lead a lap in this race, that would check all the boxes for Capital Racing's goals in this race. As Jordan Presto is no longer in contention, they can keep Allison Rose in this lead pack, and she can provide a very nice showing for the team, and she continues to hold off Ben McDonald and Halleck in the 84 to continue making a charge through this field. She's still in second behind Herman.
Yeah, I mean, and those two guys, they aren't rookies. They are proper veteran drivers. So holding them off is a very gutsy move, and I gotta give props to Allison.
We all got to, but now I think she's finally going to give up the good fight, because Ben McDonald's gotten to her inside. She'll just hang back a bit, drop into the middle of the pack, and ride for a bit as Richard Herman continues to lead the way, but this time he's got Ben McDonald and Blair in the 19 going for second and third, and there's Joshua Lee in the 56 making a move for the fourth. He's performing very much outside his equipment's potential, but he's doing a very good job right now as he gets shoved up to the middle lane by Bobo Jones, and now Lee pushes McDonald in the second lane. So now it is Herman, Blair, Jones, 1, 2, 3, Dodge, Ford, Dodge leading the way here at Pensacola.
Yeah, I mean, right now it's find out all about Miles Mashburn just leading this race, but in saying that, it's been a change of second pretty much every single lap. But I feel like now they're starting to split apart now, Mashburn and Blair for first and second, but you never know.
With Herman continuing to lead the way, we're closing in on the halfway lap now, with Blair and Jones continuing to show the way, but Mashburn's making a good fight out of it with Bobo Jones in the back for third place. He's getting moved up high by Stephen Gale. It's 3 wide for third, while Herman and Blair start to pull away a little bit. They've got a bit of a gap, and they're coming up to lap Wyatt Dooling. This is going to be interesting to see who gets held up the most by this lap car.
Yeah, now this is where you get to see the wheel drives. And
Take
you can
a
just
look
see
at Joshua Michaels in the 26. Sorry to interrupt, but he's got a very big lead now as he squirted out ahead of the rest of this pack, trying to lap Wyatt Dooling. So now Herman, Vargas, and Ortiz are going to try and team up on Joshua Michaels to try and get this lead back. As Blair gets held up by Dooling, so does Allison Rose, Duke Ansack, Andres Molina, Miles Mashburn gets past. A lot of cars getting held up by this 34. We saw lap cars be a pivotal feature in the Nitro National Series race, and we're seeing it happen once again. There's just no place to go for these lap cars.
No, that's the problem with those lap cars. You guys still try and drive your race, but the front runners have to drive their race, and it becomes very chaotic.
So Herman is back out in the lead for at least the time being, but Nick Ortiz is getting a push from Stephen Gale to take the lead back in his number 91. So Kevin Carter gets past as well. They're coming up to lap Diego Yepes soon as well. They're about a straightaway behind Yepes, so it'll be a little bit before they catch him, but they will catch him at some point, and it's just a matter of time before this field gets shuffled up again by another lap car. But right now, it's Ortiz and Gale leading the way right now, with Kevin Carter in third and several other drivers in hot pursuit behind them.
Yeah, exactly. Herman and Ortiz just trying to hold on, basically, for Ortiz just holding on, trying to get the most laps lead, but right now it's still anyone's race.
We are past halfway in the Pensacola 500 with Nick Ortiz leading away. Stephen Gale in second place, but don't think that the guys behind them have anything to say about it. They definitely will, as Hunter is up there, Vargas, his teammates, pushing him along, Kevin Carter and another Toyota is there. 4 consecutive Toyotas in second through fifth right now, ganging up on this lone Ford in the lead, and here they come, going to blow past Nick Ortiz, the Toyota Conga line on the bottom lane, with Gale, Hunter, Vargas, and Carter's trying to get up there too, but Stephen Gale will lead this lap. As a couple cars make their way on the pit road for scheduled green flag pit stops, Zachary Fitzwater is in, Allison Rose is in. This is going to be interesting to see who can cycle out into the lead after green flag pit stops are complete.
Yeah, exactly. This is where the real-time strategy starts to happen, the pit stops. But is the undercut going to work, or is the overcut going to work? We'll find out throughout this race.
See, ideally you want to pit with friends so you can as they lap Diego Yepes right there. You want to pit with friends so you can have drafting partners when you exit the pits. So Fitzwater and Rose will likely be working together for a little while. We'll see if anybody else joins them on pit road, and you see people are coming in, with Halleck's coming in, Michaels is coming in, Vargas, Carter, they're all pitting here on this lap. It'll be interesting to see where these guys cycle out as well.
Yeah, exactly, because in this race, nothing's really set in stone until, like we said before, that checkered flag. But right now, it's the Hunter and Ortiz show right now.
So, with Hunter out in front, with Ortiz pushing him, Sanders is in the mix as well, Fitzwater's coming out of the pits, and Rose is just in front of these guys. So it'll be interesting to see. I think they're going to end up lapping Allison Rose here, with Nick Ortiz showing the way. Allison Rose now moving up into second position. Well, not second position because she's lapped down. But here comes Sanders into the pits. Hunter, Gale, looks like McDonald and Mashburn are also coming in under green. So Ortiz is going to stay out another lap. I'm curious to see if this overcut strategy is going to work out for him or not.
Yeah, but the problem is, does Ortiz have any mates with him? So far, he's been the lone wolf of this race. Always up against the other Toyotas and other cars, but right now, he seems to be working for him somehow.
So, we've got a couple cars straggling to stay out. We've got Duke Anzac up there. Richard Herman is there as well. Andres Molina is there as well. But a couple cars still out on track. We'll see who comes in this time around and who stays out. We're past the halfway mark as Nick Ortiz, Richard Herman, and Andres Molina, they all hit pit road, leaving Duke Anzac all by himself out there. But right now, it looks like Ryan Soper is staying out. Jordan Presto, who is a lap down, is staying out. Jose Guerrero and Ricky Freeman Jr., they're also staying out as well. But I'm going to be curious to see if a caution flag shakes things up here, if the pits end up cycling through all the way, who's going to be in the lead. And unfortunately, we didn't pick it up on the broadcast, but Joshua Lee, we were talking about him and doing such a good job in this race. His 500 is over with a blown engine. Tough break for the RFJ Racing team, but he will be back with his normal Carter Racing System team at Atlanta, and hopefully he'll make the race there, because, man, he was fast today.
Yeah, he did some really good driving, Joshua Lee. I'm sad that he cracked that his ignition blew out, but hopefully we'll see him next time out. He gives us a beautiful performance like he did here.
So, we've got Ryan Soper, Jose Guerrero, and Ricky Freeman Jr. These are the only cars that have yet to pit on this cycle. So, Guerrero is edging out Soper for the lead, and Freeman Jr. is going to make a move there. If Jose Guerrero wins this race, that would be the biggest upset of them all, because he wasn't even supposed to run this race. He is a Nitro National Series driver and is running full-time in that series. Oh, and we've got trouble down here. Kevin Carter with some heavy damage. Richard Herman's involved in this crash. Stephen Gale is out of the race as well. Ooh, that was a close call for several cars there. As Duke Ansack exits the pits, and the caution flag is out just as green flag pit stops were about to finish.
I mean, is this a good thing for those late drivers or not? I don't know. It's going to make things a bit more interesting now.
Definitely, with Stephen Gale now out of the picture. He had such a good run today going. Same with Kevin Carter, really. And Richard Herman. He dominated the early portion of this race. But Jose Guerrero, Ricky Freeman Jr., and Ryan Soper just caught a huge break with this caution coming out. They will be able to pit under yellow flag conditions and lose a lot less time to the leaders than under green flag conditions as well. They'll lose a lot more track position, but they'll lose a lot less time to the leaders. Jeffrey Finguy and Henry Thomas also look like they've caught a lucky break by staying out a little bit longer. So the current top 5 has just caught a pretty big break here after 38 laps have been complete, because we are under the yellow flag once again. So you see Kevin Carter coming out of the pits with Richard Herman, and Herman just comes up at the wrong time, hooks Carter, sends him into a spin, and that was just a tough break. And that was a very hard shot from Stephen Gale into Kevin Carter. That was a hard hit for those guys involved. I did see them climbing out of their cars, so they are okay, but that was a very hard hit for those involved, and I really hope they're okay when all is said and done. Here we are on board with Blair in the 19. She sees the accident up ahead of her. She's trying to slow down, and she just doesn't see the car coming down, and man, that's a very close call to getting hit by Kevin Carter. She did some masterful driving to avoid that impact. That was a slick move right there.
Yeah, that's what we call nice, smooth driving, and that's what we see from the veterans, skillful driving like that.
So, with the caution flag now out, we'll see who cycles out into the race lead. But right now it's Blair in the middle of the pack. She did a very good job missing that wreck. But I'm curious to see who is going to come in and top off to try and make it to the end. It looks like Nick Ortiz will have the lead of this race because Martin, Hutchinson, and Brock up ahead of him. They are on the tail end of the lead lap. So it'll be Ortiz leading with Halleck second, Michaels third, Vargas fourth, and Lane Sanders completing in the top 5. This has been a very jumbled up field, and we still have about 21 laps to go in this race.
Yeah, exactly. But for Ortiz, he will see this as a blessing to try and confirm, the lead lap, but it's still anyone's race here. That's the problem.
Absolutely. We've got about 21 laps to go in this race. Anything can still happen, but right now it looks like Ortiz has this race in control right now, ahead of Halleck, ahead of Michaels, ahead of Vargas, and ahead of Sanders, with Hunter in 6th, Andres Molina in 7th, Ben McDonald, Miles Mashburn, and Zachary Fitzwater rounding out the top 10. As we're closing in on the end of this thing, we've only got 20 laps to go. But we got to get through this yellow flag first, and hopefully this is the last one, because I want to see some good racing to the end of this thing.
I do too, but with this being Pensacola, anything's possible, and that's the scary part.
Absolutely. Anything can still happen, and it usually does. You've heard that from us a lot of the time today, because it's true, and we've seen a lot of crazy things happen today. Anything can still happen in this race. We've got Nick Ortiz leading, who's looking for his second career win. Halleck's looking for his first. Michaels is looking for his first. Vargas is looking for his second. Sanders looking for his second. Hunter looking for his 4th. That would put him even closer, even higher on the all-time win record. Molina looking for his 1st. McDonald looking for his 2nd. Mashburn looking for his 3rd. And Fitzwater looking for his 1st career victory in the top 10.
I mean, a lot of drivers, well-established drivers, looking for their first wins. Then you have other drivers who are well-known, like Hunter, like I said, Mashburn, who are already seasoned victors. It's so many, any variables can make this race happen for any of them.
Yeah, definitely, because the lights should be going out on the pace car any minute now, and we should be going back to green soon. Yes, the lights are out on the pace car now, so you'll see the lap down cars moving down into their lap down position. So Brock, Hutchinson, and Martin are on the tail end of the lead lap. Jones, Yepes, Herman, Goforth, and Dooling are all down a lap. So we've got Ortiz leading the way. We've got Halleck in 2nd, Michaels in 3rd, Vargas and Sanders rounding out the top 5. Lane Sanders has to be feeling good about his run here today. He's crashed out of every single superspeedway race he's ever taken part in this series. But he's running in 5th now, and he's doing a pretty good job up there.
The key word there is for now. You never know where he's going to be shuffled into this pack by the end of the race. For now, he's doing great. By the end of the race, he might be in 10th, he might be further back, we never know.
And only time will tell, as we have 20 laps to go in this race. The pace car leading him down the back straightaway in double file formation with the lap down cars all on the inside. We've got Martin, Brock, and Hutchinson trying to stay on the lead lap on the tail end. They're hoping for another caution immediately so they can get their lap back and hopefully contend for this race win. But anything can still happen, and like we said, it usually does. So keep an eye out on those 3 cars up in the front, because they are in desperation mode at this point.
Yeah, you also got to factor in now the lapped cars down below. They're going to hold them up, and Ortiz, especially since he's not at the front of the pack, has to realize this. He may be leading this race, but he's not in the front of that line queue. So this is going to make things a lot more interesting.
Exactly, and you've got to wonder if someone like Michaels is going to make a move down to the bottom where there's no cars down there and try and get around Ortiz and Halleck the easy way on the inside line. As the pace car makes its way out onto pit road, leaves us in the hands of William Brock being the control car on the restart. But he's not your leader. That's Nick Ortiz. And as the field fans out behind, the green flag is out. We're back racing. We have 19 laps to go. And like I said, there goes Joshua Michaels down to the inside. He's going to try and cover off the 2 cars ahead of him on the inside lane. And here comes Joshua Michaels in the 26. He's going to make a move for the lead.
Yeah, smart thinking by Michaels. Again, like you said, trying to get that inside, use the lap cars to help you, and that's basically what he's doing.
And he's got Lane Sanders and Stephen Hunter pushing him. Lane Sanders is going to make a move on the inside for the lead of this thing. Lane Sanders, we talked about him during the caution flag. He's happy to make it to this point, but I think he'd be even happier with a checkered flag in hand. And he sees it up in front. He's only got to pass 1 car to get there. But Joshua Michaels is continuing to lead the way off of turn number 4, and he's trying to get past all this lap traffic. But here comes Lane Sanders on the inside. He's going for the lead, but Hunter's making a move on the inside for the lead. Would you look at that? They're 3 wide for the top spot.
4 wide? What are you talking about there?
Well, I mean 3 wide with the leaders, that is.
But touche, but you never know with this race.
That is a good point. But Stephen Hunter now cementing himself in the race lead with help from Nick Ortiz, and now Miles Mashburn making a move with help from Duke Ansack. All these manufacturers working together. Allison Rose making her way back up to the front was 8th at the last timing line. Now she's up to 3rd in the 46 Crowley Foods Ford, and she's making some noise here late. We've only got about 17 laps to go.
Exactly, and like I said, it doesn't matter what position you were at that restart, it's about that final line product, and we can see that from Allison Rose, who, like you said, came from 8th, now is in 3rd.
She's got Ricky Freeman Jr. pushing, and Freeman caught a huge break with that caution flag, as did Ryan Soper and Jose Guerrero, being in the right place at the right time when that caution came out. They are now back into this lead pack after being out of it for a long time in this race. And now Freeman's making a move on Rose for third, while Hunter and Anzac start to pull away a little bit.
Yeah, they're trying to pull away, and as you say, that Anzac's trying to take the lead here from Hunter. I don't know if he has it, though.
It's gonna be a drag race down to the line to see who leads this lap. I think Hunter's still going to get it at the line. Yes, he will, by a very slim margin. But Allison Rose is still there. Jose Guerrero is still there. Ricky Freeman Jr., Ryan Soper, Lane Sanders, they're all still in the hunt for the lead, as we've only got 16 laps to go. Anything can happen in this race. It usually does. That's the motto of this race. We repeat it a lot. But it's true, and we're seeing it in full force here today.
We may sound like broken records, but we have to sound like broken records when the truth is there, and that's what happens at this race.
Absolutely. With the 500 getting into its closing stages, Duke Anzac leads the way. I believe your race winner will come from this pack right here, because it looks like the second pack back there is starting to lose touch with the leaders just a little bit. So I honestly believe your winner will be in this pack right here.
Yep, any one of these cars, and with that happening, there's like, I'm trying to count them very quickly, but it's going so fast I can't even count them properly.
It looks like Molina's actually on the apron a little bit. Andres Molina's hooking the apron a tad. We saw Stephen Gale do that in the dual race. You got to be careful when you're doing that, because if you come up at the wrong time, it could start a melee out of your control and take several cars out of the running.
Yeah, Molina's got to be a bit more careful. She knows what to do there, but you know. But right now, it's all about the leaders right now, as we can see McDonald's fighting for the lead.
But now Mashburn gets on the inside with help from Vargas and Rose. They're going to go 4 wide for the lead with 13 laps to go, 14 laps to go. Vargas makes a move on the inside. Allison Rose is pushing him. Lane Sanders is pushing her. They're all making a move for the lead.
Like I said, it's anyone's race until that checkered flag. And we're seeing it here. Allison Rose, though, has been holding strong that top 5 position, though. So, no matter what, Allison Rose, great racing by them. I've got to give commendation to.
So, that's a top candidate for a driver of the day right there. So, if Lane Sanders making a push past Rose for second place, ahead of Christian Vargas. Vargas is trying to complete a perfect speed weeks for him. He won the pole position for the 500. He won his dual race with a last lap pass, and now he's in the lead of the Pensacola 500 with 13 laps to go. But he's going to drift up high, and that's going to allow Ortiz to take the lead back. But Vargas still in the hunt for this thing with 13 laps to go.
Yeah, exactly. You can't rule out any driver here. I think there's 15 drivers for this race to take the win, and any one of them can win it on that checkered flag.
So Nick Ortiz leads the way with help from his teammate Ricky Freeman Jr. in second. Actually, 2 teammates. He's got Blair working with him as well. The Finish Line Motorsports cars are having a very strong day. 3 of them in the top 5 right now. But it's Nick Ortiz leading the way with his teammate Blair pushing him. Fitzwater in third, and then it's all hell breaks loose going farther back in the 4-wide battle for 4th place.
I just love those runs, the 4-wide battle for 4th place, but that's basically what it is, as we see Blair trying to take the lead off of Ortiz right now.
And she will. She dominated her dual race to a commanding victory. So she knows how to win on these things, and she's going to try and take the lead back for keeps to try and get her second career win in the Pensacola 500, the biggest win of her career if it ends up happening.
Yep, if it ends up happening, but right now there's still 11 laps to go. Anything's possible, and we can see Hunter on the back end of Blair, and so that only means one thing to me.
We're coming to 11 laps to go this time. We now have 11 laps to go in this race. So with Blair and Ortiz side by side for the lead, they're 3 wide further back in the pack. And we've got about 17, 18 cars in this pack that can win the Pensacola 500, but only one will be celebrating at the end of the day, and we've got 11 laps left to find out who that is. And we've got 2 Finish Line Motorsports cars in the lead of this race, with Ortiz and Blair side by side. Justin Hutchinson's got to be happy watching his cars battle for the lead, even if he's not among them. But Blair is continuing to fight Ortiz for this lead. She wants to win it herself, not let Ortiz get back-to-back wins. Remember, he won the season finale last season, so he's riding a bit of momentum of his own.
Yeah, I mean, Ortiz was the playoff contender. Blair missed out by a bit. But Ortiz, stole the show with his great driving on the finale, but he wants to try and get momentum back in to show that, I wasn't just a lucky shot into the playoffs. I'm a proper driver, and showing off in this race and winning it will show you that.
So, and that he's proving it now as he continues to be side by side with Blair in the 19. But she has Lane Sanders pushing her. Now she's got Miles Mashburn pushing her. We've got trouble with 9 laps to go. Jeffrey Finguy is involved, and Allison Rose. The Cinderella story is over for Allison Rose. Her race is done. Stephen Hunter is out of the race. Duke Ansack has severe damage to his car. Allison Rose is out. Jeffrey Finguy is out. And the caution flag is out with 9 laps to go in this race. Can you believe what a race we've had so far?
Oh, amazing race. Unfortunate for that crash there. But I feel so sorry for some of those cars. Allison Rose, Hunter, great driving by them, but unfortunate what's happened to them.
Absolutely. Allison Rose was driving a perfect race. She was running up in the top 10 all day long. And it's just proper heartbreak to see her finish down in the running order where she likely will end up because of that hard crash on lap 51. And Jeffrey Finguy is going to be out of the race as well. We got Yepes with damage. Duke Ansack with some heavy damage as well. Ben McDonald looked like he had some damage too. There's a lot of cars with severe damage in this wreck. None the least being Allison Rose. She had such a good race going. And I'd still give her a nod for the performance of the race by a long shot, because she outdrove that equipment by a very long way. And I'm hoping she makes the next race in Atlanta, because she deserves it. Alright, so here's the view. This is the battle for, I believe, 8th position. And Ansack, I think, just gets hooked onto Rose's bumper. And there's just not enough room there. Gets hit by McDonald, gets hit by Finguy, takes a wild ride. Xavier with damage, Finguy with heavy damage, Allison Rose sliding to a stop. Man, heartbreak after heartbreak in the Pensacola 500, but that's just a part of superspeedway racing. Some cars will be involved in accidents and other cars will continue on, and those cars that continue on, they will be the ones who end up winning this race.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially in this sort of track where, you're driving at such high speeds at such a high turning corner, these things can happen.
Alright, we are on board now with Jeffrey Finguy, who was right behind where this accident started. You can see Rose, Hunter, and Ansack all up ahead of him. And Ansack just moves up a tiny bit into Allison Rose, and who just gets caught up with Finguy, and just not the way Jeffrey Finguy's 500 wanted to end, but he was having such a good day. All these guys were having such good days, and no, that was almost contact with several cars there. That could have been very bad, but thankfully all 4 of those cars missed it, and so did these guys too. A lot of good wreck avoidance here. But man, all these guys were having such good days, and I hate to see them all done for with only a handful of laps to go.
Yeah, exactly. But in saying that, though, Blair would be ecstatic for this, because now not many laps to go, holding on. She just now needs to hold. That's all she needs to do, just defend and hold.
Easier said than done, though. She's got Christian Vargas, Andres Molina, Joshua Michaels all behind her. 3 stout Toyotas trying to take her win away. And the first Ford that could possibly help her is Lane Sanders back in 6th. And I think he's definitely wanting to make a push for the win himself. So it looks like we'll have a 5-lap shootout to settle this race, because the lights are still on the pace car. It looks like they'll go out the next time by. We'll take you to the restart when it's ready for us. This is the Pensacola 500 live. We'll take you to the restart as soon as it's available. The pace car makes its way through turns 3 and 4. We're getting ready for the restart. Blair in the 19 is nosing out ahead. The pace car going to make the hard left turn on the pit road. We're going to get ready to restart this thing. We're going to get this thing started. The pace car is off. The green flag is back out in the air. And we got 5 laps to settle the winner of the Pensacola 500.
Here we go, 5-lap shootout. Who's going to take it? Who's going to win this?
Molina makes the first move. He goes down to the inside, trying to take the second spot from Christian Vargas. Blair starts to get a bit of a lead, but she's got to be careful not to get too big a lead because that will be a pain when the pack catches back up to her. And right now, that pack being led by Andres Molina, and Blair is getting sucked back into the pack. Molina can't quite get there, but he's going to try and make a move anyway. The aggression level is peaked for these drivers. Molina makes a move to the inside of Blair for the lead, and he's got help from Miles Mashburn in the 72.
Yeah, and then you got that 84 right behind him pushing the 72 there, so, you know, and Ortiz is there as well. Again, Ortiz was in 10th. He's back in this race.
Coming to 4 laps to go now. Molina leads at the line, but here comes Halleck in the 84 trying to take the lead away. Nick Ortiz making it 4 wide for the lead, going through 1 and 2 for a very close battle for the victory. Here comes Lane Sanders, Jose Guerrero, Zachary Fitzwater making a move. Fitzwater started outside the top 10 on the restart, and he's now making a move when it counts. Fitzwater makes a move. Ortiz clears Halleck for the lead, but here comes Lane Sanders on the inside trying to take the lead away.
Lane Sanders, the curse of the Speedway. He's never finished one. Can you imagine his first finish? He wins it. Can this happen for him?
We still got 3 laps to go until we'll find out for sure. But he's got Jose Guerrero pushing him, but now he washes up to the outside. He's going to be taken 3 wide for the lead with 3 laps to go. Jose Guerrero on the inside line. Zachary Fitzwater pushing him, and Halleck pushes Sanders on the inside line. That leaves Ortiz with no drafting help on the outside.
Yeah, that's not where you want to be for Ortiz, but right now it's Jose and Fitzwater trying to push Sanders out, and this race has a lot of twists and turns still to go.
We still got several turns left to go. Guerrero and Sanders and Ortiz fighting for the lead. Sanders still has a nose out on Jose Guerrero. Guerrero trying to pull off the ultimate upset in the Pensacola 500 with a shocking win if he can hang on for just 2 more laps. Jose Guerrero takes the race lead, coming to 2 laps to go in the 500.
Are you sure about that? I think Sanders still held on for it, though.
Oh, he did, but just by the slimmest of margins. But Jose Guerrero is still hanging tough. I'm not playing favorites, but that would be a major upset if Guerrero can pull it off. But Lane Sanders is charging like he's never charged before in that Mountain Dew Ford Mustang up on the top side. He's doing everything he can to try and take the lead. We're coming to the white flag this time by, and we still got 11 or 12 cars that can win the Pensacola 500. Guerrero holds the lead coming to the white flag.
And here comes Blair now pushing Jose now. She was leading the start of the shootout. Now she's back in it. It's anyone's race.
Coming to the white flag this time, Sanders and Guerrero side by side for the lead. White flag is out. The final lap is underway, and Lane Sanders has gotten pushed out ahead of Jose Guerrero. They're now 4 wide for second. Lane Sanders starting to pull away a little bit. That's not quite a good thing. He needs to stay close back up to this pack if he's got any hope of winning this race.
Yeah, exactly, because here comes now Mashburn to push a little bit and try and get maybe on the underside, but right now no one's nearing him.
Lane Sanders for 3 and 4. He's never finished a super speedway race before. This would be the perfect way to finish his first race with a win in the Pensacola 500. Lane Sanders for his cell phone racing team coming for turns 3 and 4 for the final time. And as Lane Sanders off of turn 4, he's going to win the biggest race of his career. Lane Sanders wins the Pensacola 500 in a dramatic final 5 laps. Miles Mashburn will come across second. Blair will hold off the pack for third. Ricky Freeman Jr. will finish fourth. And Ryan Soper completes the top 5. But man, that was a commanding win for Lane Sanders, and it proves that his superspeedway curse has indeed been broken.
Yeah, it definitely has, especially after this race. Excellent driving by all the drivers, especially in that final 5-lap shootout. But Sanders, he's been driving well, and he wanted to get rid of that voodoo curse, and now he has.
Christian Vargas will come across in 6th. Zachary Fitzwater will finish 2nd. Nick Ortiz will take 8th, ahead of Andres Molina in 9th. And Joshua Michaels will round out the top 10 in a chaotic Pensacola 500. with Lane Sanders taking his second career win and his first win since his series debut at Rockingham last season. He won his series debut at Rockingham in 2020. Hasn't won since, but he's won his first race of 2021 just as he won his first race of 2020. How about that?
New year, same driver. He wins the first race of each year. We'll come back to 2022. We'll win the next one.
We'll see if that's the case or not. But the series leaves Pensacola Superspeedway for now. We'll be back in July for another race here Sunday. But for now, the series heads on to Atlanta Motor Speedway for race number 2 of the season. We look forward to seeing you there as well. And from Ryan Caggiano and from myself as well, we say goodbye from the Pensacola 500. A big congratulations to Lane Sanders, who scored a victory in the crown jewel of the 1UP Superstar Series, the Pensacola 500.